Clan MacBean is a Highland Scottish clan and is a member of Clan Chattan. History. Origins of the clan's name. There could be several possible Gaelic origins for this name, with Bethan being the most likely. Another likely origin for the name is the Gaelic Ban, which appears in the name of Scottish King Donald Ban. The name could be a reference to the colour of his hair and/or the paleness of his face. A third, but perhaps less likely origin of the name is the suggestion that the name originated from Bean, which means top peak, as applied to the names of mountains such as Ben Cheoran in Lochaber and Britain's highest mountain Ben Nevis. If the name did arise from Bean, then one might assume it was a reference to the height of the person it was applied to. An authoritative view on the origin of the name MacBean came from the respected Gaelic academic Alexander MacBean, who, in his An Etymological Dictionary of the Gaelic Language, wrote the following words: MacBean a Macbethan, from Beathan, English as been a Benjamin, asterisk, Bitatania est life, son, from be that life, with the termination agno est, meaning descendant of ing, now used like the eng, to form diminutives. Also Macbean. If one pronounces the name Macbean without use of the usual English th, but lightly skip over it, as one would do in Gaelic, one can easily see how the name was then written as MacBean, MacBain, etc. However, Alexander MacBean also provided a view on the origin of the name Bain in the same dictionary, which supports the name having arisen from Ban, Bain, from G. Ban, white. The Bains of Tulloch appear in the 16th century variously as Bain a Bain, with a contemporary near them called John MacFacahe McGilly Bain. This last name is now McIlbain, Fairgill, rendered into Eng, by White, whence also McGilvain, as detailed further below. Despite the similarity of the name, it is important to note that the Bains of Tulloch are not related to or a part of Clan MacBean. Early history. Descent from Gila Chattan Moran Clan Chattan. History and tradition ascribes the MacBeans as being among the descendants of Gila Chattan, more commonly known as Clan Chattan. The earliest certain record of the name in its more modern form appeared in an old Canrara manuscript, which names both Bean MacMilmore and his son, Milmore MacBean. Charles Fraser Mackintosh provides some helpful information about the clan's origins. The MacBean territory lay chiefly in the parish of Dawes, as may be seen from the preponderance of the name on the tombstones in the churchyard, represented by Kinchal and Drummond as heritors. They were represented in Strathnairn by MacBean of Fairley, and in Strathdurn by MacBean of Tomartin. Kinchal was undoubted head, and signs the bond of union among the Clan Chattan in 1609, the bond of maintenance of 1664, and finally, in 1756, the letter of authority from the clan to Mackintosh, to redeem the Lochlegan estate. According to the Rev. Lachlan Shaw, the first MacBean came out of Lochaber in the suit of Eva, heiress of Clan Chattan, and settled near Inverness. The Ms. History of the Mackintoshes says in corroboration that Bean Vic Coilmore lived in Lochaber, and was a faithful servant to Mackintosh against the Red Cummin, who possessed Inverlochy, who was a professed enemy of Mackintosh. Again, the manuscript records that Miles MacBean Vic Coilmore and his 4 sons, Paul, Gillies, Miles and Farquhar, after they had slain the Red Cummin steward and his 2 servants, Patin and Kisson, came to William Mackintosh, 7th of Mackintosh, in Connaught, in Petty, where he then dwelt, and for themselves and the posterity took protection and dependence of him and his as their chief. This occurring about 1334 establishes the MacBeans as one of the oldest tribes of historic Clan Chattan. The Mackintosh history, referring to the Battle of Harlaw, narrates that Mackintosh lost in this battle many of his friends and people, especially of the Clan Veen. Quote, This loss so greatly depressed the MacBeans that I am unable to trace the succession from this period until the time of Gillies, about 1500. The Macintosh history being referred to above is the Canrara manuscript, a new edition of which, edited by Dr. John Munro, has been published by the Clan Chattan Association. 15th, 16th and 17th centuries. The Clan MacBean fought for Domnall of Islay, Lord of the Isles, along with the rest of the Chattan Confederation at the Battle of Harlaw in 1411, where they suffered heavy losses. In the history of the Macintoshes, chiefs of Clan Chattan, it is recorded that Macintosh mourned the loss of so many of his friends and people, especially of Clan Veen. In 1597 the Bain family of Tulloch Castle fought in the Battle of Lochbride against the Mackenzies. However, the Bain of Tulloch family were not part of the Clan MacBean and were in fact a branch of the Clan Mackay, who had changed the surname to Bain. Despite the lack of connection between the Bains of Tulloch and Clan MacBean, a slight connection came later when Kenneth Bain, 8th Laird of Tulloch, sold the estate to his cousin Henry Davidson, whose successors became chiefs of Clan Davidson, members of Clan Chattan like the MacBeans. The 12th chief of Clan MacBean was Paul MacBean, who due to heavy debts was forced to give up his lands in about 1685. However, the lands were re-granted in the same year by the Earl of Cawdor to Paul's son William MacBean in Kinchile. William's elder son Aeneas MacBean succeeded him, followed by his second son Gillies MacBean, who fought and died at Culloden. The present chiefs descend from a younger son of William MacBean, as the older brother's lines ended in daughters. The copy of the grant of arms of MacBean by the Lord Leon to Houston MacBean as 21st chief confirms that the line of succession passed via Houston's great-great-grandfather William MacBean of Pituri, and states which William was great-grandson and eventual representative of William MacBean of Kinchile, chief of the Clan MacBean. This matriculation was listed in the Edinburgh Gazette the 27th of May 1966. 18th century and Jacobite risings. Many of Clan MacBean supported the Jacobite rising of 1715, and as a result many of them were transported to the plantations in Virginia, Maryland and South Carolina. However, this did not deter Gillies MacBean, second grandson of the 12th chief William MacBean of Kinchile, from fighting in the Jacobite rising of 1745. Gillies MacBean took up a commission as a major and fought at the Battle of Culloden. He is said to have been at least 6 feet 4 inches tall, and the story goes that during the battle he saw government dragoons breaking through to assault Highlanders on the flank. Gillies threw himself into the gap and cut down 13 or 14 of his assailants, fighting with his back to the wall. A government officer tried to call back his men to save a fellow brave soldier, but MacBean was killed. Also at the Battle of Culloden, another MacBean is credited with assisting the chief of Clan Cameron, who was wounded and unable to walk, to escape. Another MacBean, Aeneas MacBean, managed to escape after the battle by repeatedly leaping from one side of a stream to another until his pursuers were forced to give up. After the Battle of Culloden, the chief struggled to keep his lands and they were sold in 1760. In 1778, Lieutenant General Forbes MacBean was appointed the commander of artillery in Canada. Later clansman William MacBean extraordinarily rose from the rank of private to major general and won the Victoria Cross for gallantry during the Indian Mutiny in 1858. Forbes MacBean, another of the well-known military family, descended from Reverend Alexander MacBean of Inverness, won a DSO in 1897 when serving as a major in the Gordon Highlanders, for the gallant and courageous action in taking the heights of Dargai near the border of Afghanistan, in India's old northwest province, which is now part of Pakistan. Various accounts of this action have been written. Forbes MacBean later commanded the Gordon Highlanders Regiment against the Boers of South Africa in 1881 during the Boer Wars. He is mentioned in an account of the bravery of the Gordon Highlanders at Doornkop, southwest of Johannesburg. John Sterling recorded in his book, Our Regiments in South Africa 1899 to 1902, that the Gordons were led by Lieutenant Colonel Burney and by Colonel Forbes MacBean, who has perhaps seen more hard fighting than any officer now alive, and with his regiment, the chiefly line of the clan has flourished in Canada and the United States in the 20th century. Chief's home, Kinchile, which is 6 miles southwest of Inverness, was the historic seat of the chiefs of Clan MacBean until it was sold in 1759.